Andrea is going to introduce here in a second, but I'll just say this is definitely one to follow as an example of if you are doing any sort of community and trying to create experiences for the purpose of conversion. This is going to be an awesome interview. So, Andrea, who do we have with us?
Yeah, today we have Doug Boughton. Okay, I am really excited about Doug. Doug came into our world through our ClickFunnels connection. And Doug originally came in as like the lead affiliate in the ClickFunnels world. That's how I had heard about him. And then I think, Susan, you actually turned me on to one of his challenges. And I was like, at that time, I was deep in analyzing experiences that get people to actually do stuff, like actually care about them doing the thing and not just selling them the thing. And Doug was one of those challenges that I experienced firsthand. I was like, oh, he's doing some really clever things in terms of like actually getting people to take action and not just selling to them. And so went super deep in Doug's world, got to know him a little bit better, more encounters with him through ClickFunnels, Inner Circle, affiliate, different events. We went to Atlas together. So anyway, and we've had a couple of events. So just so happy to have you here, Doug. Can't wait to dive in more with you. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, thank you for all the kind words, and the feeling is mutual. Thank you guys for having me on today. I'm excited to jam out on one of my favorite topics, and I won't say very few people talk about, but it's the most important. So,
Yes.
yeah, thanks for
Yes.
leading the way.
Not enough people talk about it. And I think that's why when we recognize when somebody is doing it, it's like, ooh, let's make this more known. Let's make this more of the conversation. Because I think especially in our marketing world, we have so much attention on acquisition and funnel strategy and marketing strategy and sales strategy. We have so little attention on customer success and delivery and experience that it's time to balance out those scales. And we definitely
Absolutely.
see like values in what you're doing. So I agree with you 100%. Yeah. Okay. So, Doug, take us back because I think most of the people that we've interviewed so far are people who have information businesses, and we are largely talking about like post what we call the first sale. And we're talking about the second sale and what happens in the second sale. But I think you're unique in that you have woven in what I would call delivery principles into the first sale experience with your challenges, which is so fascinating. Can you talk a little bit about that of like how did you even think to do that or like where did that come from?
It came from the audience, actually. I think I know exactly what you're saying. I started doing challenges back in 2019, 5-day challenges. They were free. My first 14 were free, and my whole goal was just to get them to do the thing they signed up to, which is hard to do when it's free. But I got to the point where we were, seeing at least 10% of people finish it. I thought that was really good. I know it doesn't sound great, but it's actually really good for a free challenge. And I noticed that, and when I say by the audience started, it was like the people that post in the community and do their welcome video without me asking them, or even just a written introduction, were always the people that made it to the end. So the first iteration was, hey, let's gamify this. Like, let's get them to join, and their first instructions in the welcome video is to go introduce yourself. And then from there, it evolved into, hey, let's do like a perfect score contest. And to be a part of it, they'd have to post their video introduction.
Mm,
And if they get into that, then they just have to do one simple thing each day. At the end of the week, they have a perfect score. So it's kind of evolved over the years. And yeah, just like what are people doing that make it to the finish line? Let's go encourage that more. That's really what it
mhm,
became.
mhm. Okay. And I'm always so curious as the why behind. So, one of my favorite Doug memories, you don't know this, but it might ring a bell, was, I think, the third year that we were going to Mastermind in Paradise with ClickFunnels. And I had just been a part of your challenge. And you sent this awesome email to everybody who was going to Mastermind in Paradise, where you basically described all of the foodie experiences that you could have if you were a foodie. But the depth to which you provided it, right, was so nurturing in experience. It was like, go to this place if you like this, and these are some highlights, and this is why I love it. And we're planning on doing this because of blah, blah, right? Like it was so caring and nurturing and experience oriented. It's one of my favorite Doug emails. I actually have it saved on my as one example of like experience orientation. Where does that come from in you? Like, where do you get that?
I know exactly what you're saying. I had to think for a second. I'm like, yeah, I did. I did so much research.
You did.
I've
You
never
did.
been
I
there
mean, you really
before.
cared about the foodie experience for everybody and like shared it. It was so kind. Yeah.
I think I'm always thinking about food on vacation. Like we did a month in Italy for our honeymoon last October, me and
Yeah.
Kelsey. And like I swear the whole trip, obviously Italy, revolved around food.
Yeah.
And I think I was overwhelmed, even just having, was it 10 options at Esh Kure,
Yes.
for, and I
Yes.
was like, I got to know all these details and like, where are they and what are their hours? Like, my wife's a planner and never used to be, but now we plan,
Yeah.
not just obviously food, but our whole Italy trip, we had one out of 30 days, one tiny hiccup, and it was because the bus didn't show up. It wasn't like on us.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, that was so freeing. So like it kind of helps me see the value of like knowing, and I don't want to get obsessive down to like 30-minute blocks, but like
Yeah.
where are we eating? What's the distance between where we like are
Yeah.
here? Things like that I used to never think about. But I just think the idea is it allows for more time to actually enjoy what you do in life, not just for like vacations and going to events, but yeah, it was just me being like, I'm overwhelmed by all these options. I want to know and have the most time with people. And if I have to go do this, I'll be in my room for an hour. You know how it goes. Where do we
Yeah.
eat? The hour flies by. So
Yeah.
I thought, I want to connect with people. Let's put it out there and tell them, how we could do that.
Yeah.
You're
Well,
so kind.
I
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I totally missed that email. Well, I don't think I was going to Mastermind in Paradise that year, but that speaks to, I know you said like you didn't used to do, that level of planning. But that speaks to why we've seen you over the years put so much care into the experience of
Yeah.
your customers, because it's the same thing. I don't know if you connected those dots, but you feeling overwhelmed by all of the choices, and you're like, I'm sure others are going to feel overwhelmed too. Let me just go do some research. Let me give some like details about these different restaurants and put it together, and then help people like make a decision and walk them through it. And that's what we've observed with you over the years, Doug, is you are so good at taking people one little step at a time.
Yes.
And it shows across like everything that you do. I see it. And that story of the restaurants, like that is awesome, because that's like you taking that into your personal life, which also is still business life.
Yeah.
That's really
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Thank you for the perspective. Like I really, wow, that's because my first big win in internet business, I was working as a server, and my first offer in my community was walking people through the One Funnel Away challenge because I went through
Mm,
it like 2 or 3 times. I'm like, I
mm,
can't get an offer out. I can't build a funnel. I've done this for clients. Like, what's going on? I had a few restaurant local clients using ClickFunnels. Um, but I want to go full time with this. But yeah, that's what I did. I took 30 days. I think it was the second or third time I went through it. I just took notes and organized it. I'm like, all right, here is what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring people through this experience and just show them what I've learned and where I got stuck and what they can do. Like, here's the action step from day one, and here's how I implement it. Here's my examples. Here's another example that makes like doesn't even pertain to business, but it'll help you get it. So, no, it's kind of like helps me see like maybe there's a something there, you know what I mean, to pay attention to. So, thank you.
Oh, 100%. It's like this natural talent that you have, which explains why you're great at it. Yeah, it's like, I think it's your own ability to sense your own overwhelm, which I think a lot of experts, because they have lost sight of the emotional aspect of that overwhelm because they're past that, right? But for your ability to continue to tap into it and have compassion for the people you serve, I think is what's felt on the other end by your
Yeah,
people.
thank you.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that's like the whole thing with client success is, I mean, I haven't, of course, we coined terms and, IP and frameworks, but even the people that lead the way now learn from somebody who learned from somebody. And, I'm looking at like some old books that, Russell got me to old books and like, wait, there's a title of a chapter of this book from almost 100 years ago that is called Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Oh,
So I'm
really?
like, yeah. And then there was another one called Unshakable something. I'm like, and I forget, I
That's
think it was,
crazy.
who was it? We were at it wasn't Napoleon Hill, it was, I think Nightingale.
Okay.
But anyway, I'm like, all these things that people are leading the way these days came from these. So I think it's just interpreting the programs, the courses, the masterminds, every good experience, every bad experience, and I can learn from that, reduce it down, make it my own, and give them that experience. If I didn't like that in that program, I'm not going to do that, right? I'm going to do the opposite. And I think if people just stuck with one thing, of course, it's going to evolve and shift and maybe rename, but you just keep making it better, you know? So I had
Yeah.
a hard time with that early on. And now I've had my audience conversion academy. We're going on 5 years. So
Wow. Yeah.
yeah, it's exciting.
Well, and for anybody who doesn't know your world, Doug, you put a really big a lot of times the other people that we've talked to, the emphasis more on the individual's journey, right? But I think that you also have a unique aspect in that you put a lot of emphasis on the role of community in the person's journey, and the role of social pressure in the person's journey. Can you speak a little bit about that and where that came from?
Yeah, community. I remember looking at a few people's communities. Most of them were dream car winners, right? This is like
Oh, yeah.
fall of 2018. I'm working as a server. I don't have my own offers. I'm learning about ClickFunnels and internet marketing, and I see all these people winning cars and making all this money promoting ClickFunnels. I'm like, I love ClickFunnels. I want to promote this. And they all had a community. So I joined a
Mhm.
few communities and I'm like, I can't have a community. What am I going to talk about? What am I going to even do? And that's when James Hurst had a community called Dream Car Future Current and Future Dream Car Winners. And you had to
Mhm.
do a live video once a month to stay in it. I thought that was awesome.
Mhm.
So it got me on. I still have the videos. I put them in my own community, showing people like, "Hey, this is like 7 years ago. This is what got me to do it." But after doing a few of those, I started going live in my own. I started community, started going live in the community. Just it broke me through that shell, and I just feel like I was learning about internet marketing since 2012 and dabbling all over the place. But it wasn't until I started a community that it became so much easier to lead people to an offer. And it
Mhm.
felt like I'm just helping direct them. I don't have to sell anything. They would join my community, watch the pin video, sign up to the One Funnel Away challenge. And within less than 2 months, that was when I went from a couple affiliate, I think I had 8 people sign up to ClickFunnels locally, like restaurants using the platform for their website, which is not intended for that, but it worked for them,
Mhm.
to over 100 affiliates signed up and got the Dream Car Award, and it's all because of the community. So, like, I think I've always been hooked on community ever since, and when we think about online marketing and all the things that we feel like we have to do, and especially now I think it's getting harder on social media, it's like the easiest and there's a lot of different ways you can nurture people. You can send them to a YouTube channel, content, you can have them watch, I don't know, dozens or hundreds of short form, but people could join a community, watch one video, and be ready to work with you. It's absolutely insane,
Mhm.
and obviously that's not the whole purpose. We give a lot of free value there, but I know they're gonna get a lot out of our programs. If I could just get them to see that sooner, then let's double down on that.
Okay, and I have a hard question for you, and this is a super geeky question. I think the hardest thing in communities is that normally people join the community to be connected to the leader of the community. And oftentimes, these communities, especially the free one, the leader is not always available, right? I mean, it's like they're available or they might have a team maybe like once a week, but it's mainly the team, right? Something unique happens in the communities that you create, and it is not less about them coming into your community to be connected to you, but you have this network effect that happens of like they know each other, and there's like and it's faster than average of people connecting with other people in the community and not just about the relationship with you. What is the secret sauce that you do there? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Time and patience. This is why I have signed up. I don't know if it's 1,000, but it's up there. People to sign up to school to start their own school communities. Today, I think there's maybe 300, so about a third stick.
Uh-huh.
Because those people that drop their community on school, or maybe it's a Facebook group, wherever it is, expect that to happen from day one. And I don't want to predict numbers, but it's going to take a couple hundred until you start seeing people really to connect. And you could do things differently. Be very intentional for trying to get 10 people and they're all friends and they're all connected. But from my experience, it took me at least a couple hundred people in our community when we started it from scratch on school, where I started seeing that people were really like engaging on all the comments, all the posts they're posting. And I think it's also like from my role to make sure that we build an environment that encourages that. So
Mhm.
my welcome email series, is designed to get them to do things like post and engage, put yourself on the map. Where are you from? Connect with people where you're from. And then even not just automating it, but encouraging it live and rewarding people and thanking them. I don't talk to all my members, obviously, there's a lot in there, but if I see somebody donate to our cause or somebody really going above and beyond, I'll reach out personally. And then my community manager, we have a weekly member of the week, member of the month. So I think that's encouraging for people to continue to do that. But it
Mm.
definitely takes time, I think, for communities to, and if you just wait for that, like I was away in October and our community was so active. Sales were coming in. I didn't work. This is tough for me because I love working. I didn't work one day in that trip. It's like going on my
Yeah.
honeymoon. This is one time in a life, like I'm not working. And I don't want to say we had a record month, but we had above 6-figure month. And I'm like, it's all because of the community activity and encouraging each other to like jump into the VIP tier. So I wish everyone would have a community, even if you feel like you can't do it,
Yeah.
and just be patient with that moment because they will carry the weight.
I think you're not giving yourself enough credit. I think, yes, patience is probably important, but I also have seen firsthand the intentionality to what you just said of you not just asking for it, but almost setting the expectation. The
Mm.
expectation you have in your community is that you will engage with other members. Like, I remember going through the first challenge with you, and I actually was really annoyed with you because I was like at that time, I was like my little insecure self in my like home that I could like barely pay rent. I was paying everything to ClickFunnels, and you had us join these groups. And I'm like, I am trying to stay hidden right now because I am so embarrassed, right? Of like where I'm at in life. And dang you, Doug, like, why are you making me engage with strangers? You know, but it was awesome in terms of that engagement. But you didn't give a choice. It was a no, this is the way we work here. And so I have to commend you for that. I think you're
Yeah.
being a little humble in expectations.
Well, it's a tough thing because I just know it's definitely out of love. I want them to like implement like what that community I was a part of said you have to go live, and I saw the person removing people. I'm like, oh my gosh, like I gotta do, but it changed my life.
Yeah.
And you're talking about when we're doing the challenges and putting people on teams, and that was a
Yes.
whole different animal.
Yes. That's exactly what I'm
But
talking
basically
about.
if someone did the introduction and they say yes on the form, sometimes they say maybe, or if they say no, maybe we even just, are you sure? But we have
Yeah.
people on teams of 5, and now it's like you're not just doing this for yourself, you're doing it for your team.
Yeah.
And you would show up, whether it's live or watching the recording of the day, and doing that action step, and then teams have the perfect score based on the team members. So that's when we were seeing 85% of the people start and finish our challenges and ascend together, all the things. And then
Yeah.
the problem became they're having like this like amazing experience in 5 days, and our programs are good, but they're going to expect that level in the program too.
Mhm.
So it helped us like start thinking about how do we continue that in our programs and match that level of momentum.
That
Yeah.
is such an important thought right there, and no one says it in that way. I don't even think many people even think about that, Doug, and so I'm just gonna say it again. So you just said that you were giving people a certain experience, and it was, unintentionally, at the moment, setting an expectation for what they were gonna get after they come into your program, and you maintaining that level of excitement and energy and, progress once they come into your program, it is so key. I just wanna commend you for, like, realizing that and then acting on it. Yeah, there's it's almost like, a lot of people approach that as a, I don't wanna kind of bait and switch, but not quite that. It's like, "Okay, well, you bought my program and I got your money. Now here's the thing that I told you
Yeah.
I'd give you. Here's your login. Good luck." You know? Maybe we'll have some calls together, but you recognize, like, we need to match the experience that they just had,
Which
which
is
is
hard to
awesome.
do because
Yeah.
5 days of that
Oh,
intensity,
yeah.
1 to 2 hours a day, right? And our programs, we meet once or twice a week, and it's good because like the momentum needs to be fast in the beginning, and then as long as
Mhm.
you show them like this is how it's going to be over the course of 90 days, 6 months, a year, whatever it is. But here's like if you could do that, our program's gonna be a breeze. But here's what it's going to look like.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
and I think it's the intention of we gave you this, not even like matching the frequency of everything, but I think what it is that you showed them, we're here to help you and we're going to walk you through this every step of the way. And that didn't change once they bought into your program. You might
Yeah.
be delivering it in a little bit of a different way, and the frequency of touch points might be a little bit different, but you still had an experience where it's like, we are here to support you. We are going to walk you through every step of the way. And that I think is the big connection. And so many people don't do that.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, it happens again. Clients were like, "Hey, like, could we do a bit more of this that we did there?" I'm like, "Absolutely. Like, what do you
And
guys?
you
How do you
listen.
want it to be?" And um, because that's the thing. If someone comes to a program after that experience, I've experienced it too. Like, I was talking to the person all the way up until paid 15 grand, and then I paid 37, thing, got all of that support, and now I've paid 15 grand, and I can't even talk to you. And I get it, there's boundaries, but at least have some things in place. And like I said, everything is learned from other experiences that we've gone through. And I'm like, I don't want to feel that way because if I feel that way, I just dipped out. I didn't show up to the program, all this stuff, and now I didn't get the results. So if someone resents a purchase or whatever, buyer's remorse, then they're not going to implement. And I know if they just implement, so I think that's like first step is onboarding. No, you can't do anything else. Go do these things, and here's your next step. I think that took me some time to figure out actually because of like the gamification, because of the touch points, all of that.
Mhm.
And it's such a gift to your people. I think that that high structure, high support, low choice is so key for that first step of just, yeah. And yeah, so
Yeah.
good. So good. Yeah.
Yeah. All these numbers stuff. Like haven't talked about it, but I'm working on a software called KPIs, and I've never been a numbers person really. I mean, I know we do have to be as an owner, but this software will measure obviously all of your dashboards, marketing, sales, but there's one for client success, and I'm going nerdy and reading like what's activation rate? I didn't know what. So like
Yeah.
now it can actually track activation rate, ascension rate, churn rate. I can see everything on one place now. And I'm training my community, my client success managers on it, which I'm excited about it. I think it's going to change how we look at their roles and measure performance, time to result. And I don't know how it's going to go. I don't know if I'm going to make it a public thing yet, but it will definitely be I want our clients to implement its first beta. And if they're enjoying it, it could become something that is great for everybody to have that has clients. I just think like, again, people like the marketing and I could sell GPTs to people, but like trying to sell them a dashboard, they're like, I don't want that
Right.
operations, you know what? But if they just take care of that, and I think it's going to help us. We've kind of been rearranging our own programs, and I'll admit, like it's been trying to like I'm in this build mode, and it takes away sometimes from back end. But it's been to design this because now that I can see everything, it allows us to know exactly where we need to focus on with the
Mhm.
clients. And if I could just keep them longer, they get better results. Uh, and I've got some clients that have been with me, for 5 years in the academy, but I'm like, how do I get all of them to do that? I think this is going to help us get maybe not 100%, but we'll increase these numbers now, the good numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Well, and again, I just commend you because I think and I love having this conversation because I think there's so much conversation happening in marketing, acquisition, sales, strategy techniques, and not nearly enough of the conversation happening in exactly what you just described. The back end, the second sale,
Yeah.
the keeping them, the impact of the business if you can't just keep them 1 month longer is significant. But you only do that through the customer success and focusing in on that, being intentional.
Yeah. And it's even like what you guys talked about, what you do. It's people seeing way too many things when they join a program and not having that journey is overwhelming and they don't start. So I think there's a lot of things we're all creators. We can create and put, you know what I mean? It's like, how do we
Mhm.
organize it and
Yeah.
allow people to again, get activated, get that first win. What is that?
Yeah.
Because then they're hooked.
Yeah. Yeah.
We
So
actually
well
were
said.
just
Yeah.
we were just talking this morning about um how so we had another conversation with someone who is also really focused on those KPIs and those numbers, and we were like, that's so awesome, we are too. And I think that the missing piece for a lot of people that hit us just this morning was, okay, you can have all that data and you can have the KPIs, and then knowing what to do with it, you might have some suggestions, but if you don't have the foundation, which Doug, I think that this is where why you've been able to do so well and why your programs have those high percentages of stick rates is because you did create this foundation of a journey. And if you don't have the actual experience mapped out and like the experience of going from like, okay, after the sale, we want to keep, we want to make sure that they don't feel like they just got bamboozled, then use the numbers to keep optimizing from that point. But if you don't have that foundation of the actual experience, the numbers are not going to be super helpful. And so I just want to make sure like the audience knows like you're now in this place. We call it
Yes.
second sale optimization. You're now in this place where you're like, okay, here's my numbers. And how do I do like little tweaks? What can we insert here? What can we do here to continue to optimize in the back end? And I think that's so awesome that you're to that point. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the first time. I mean, 7 years. It's crazy to think about. And it's like I did some of this stuff, but never at this point. And the things we did Google Sheets for a long time. And I know I flew with Brandon and Kaylin Poole in one time, and they were running an 8-figure business, Lady Boss, and they were just using Google Sheets. So I'm like, I could use Google Sheets, but I think for the team, there's a lot of breakage. There's a lot of time I spend on building out, recalibrating the dashboard. Formulas break. Oh, I don't want to be a tech person. Like I just want to build, but there's no tool out there now. AI is crazy, and I've been vibe coding this for like 6 months. It's yeah, but you have a good point here. It's like most people aren't ready for the conversations that we're having today because they
Mhm.
need to go focus on the clients. But if they could just implement a little bit of what we're talking about today from their first client to their second, 10th, 50th, whatever it is, like then you could put money into one person, hire one client success person. Then maybe they do multiple things, manage the community. Our client success person manages our community, our customers, and our clients, and it's still part-time for them.
Mhm.
Now it's acquisition is the struggle. And that's why I love community conversion events, one to many. It frees up your time, allows you to put more time back into what we're talking about today.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
on that note, Doug, do you want to tell everybody, like, if they're like, okay, I need to learn from Doug how to do community conversion events, like, where can they go to connect with you, or where should they go to? What is your latest thing you're working on?
Yeah. So right now, school, we've been on there since May of 2022. My community is called the Community Creators Club. It's school.com/action taker.
Love it.
Nice.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Love it.
Okay, Andrea, did you have anything else?
No, other than just thank you again, Doug. It's been such an honor just to be on the receiving end of your intentional journeys and then growing into just the conversation and the deeper kind of masterminding with you on the topic too. So thank you so much for just coming on
Yeah.
today and sharing your expertise.
Thank you. Like, I love conversations, and hopefully people listening are getting at least one little nugget. Go implement it. Take action. Be an action taker. But even like me talking out loud, like I have a few. I have 3 things that really stood out, and it's like the thing on the tip of your nose. You can't see a little piece of food, and like you can't see it. You guys
Mhm,
can see it. It's
mhm.
right there on your body. But yeah, that's a big one. Like showing me outside perspective of what you see being maybe something that comes natural and looking at that a little bit deeper. So thank you.
Yeah,
You're
absolutely.
welcome.
Absolutely. Yeah. Anytime that we can highlight somebody's like strength or
Yeah.
delivery system, absolutely, I'm in. Especially with somebody who has so much chops in the marketing space as well. I think that's a unique combo and we need more of that. So yeah, it was a pleasure.
You're doing it. Thanks for leading the way.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Likewise. Awesome. Well,